You can get more out of life by living more intentionally. In this video, I'm going to share 5 tips for living with intent when you're just starting out. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified every time I post a new video on intentional living and mindfulness. When you first dive into living with more intent, it can be pretty confusing on where to start. So use these tips to get started on your journey. Tip number 1. Know your values. When you first start designing an intentional life, it can be a little tricky to know what you should and shouldn't be adding or subtracting from your daily routine. Knowing what core values and beliefs you hold in your heart that you want your life to be about can really simplify that process. Tip number 2, know your why. Why do you want to live more intentionally? Now, it may seem as if you're watching this video that you already know why, but it can sometimes be a little trickier. For me, the reason why I want my life to be more intentional is because when I don't have a plan, I feel kind of lost in the day-to-day. I don't feel like my life has a direction. So for me, the why is really so I have an understanding and a knowledge of where it is I want to go. And it makes it much easier to decide what I'm going to do in a day if I know what the end goal is. Tip number 3, spend some time reflecting on your results. So at the end of every day or every week, that decision's up to you, you should spend some time reviewing what you've accomplished during the last week or the last day. When I say accomplished, I mean more, did you spend your time doing things that bring you the most joy or that align with your values? So if I were to sit down at the end of my day and really reflect on the things that I've done previously, were decisions that I made during the day, did they align with my values and beliefs? And once you have that information, once you've been able to do that reflection, then you can plan for the future a little bit better. If this is resonating for you, go ahead and hit that like button and let me know in the comments what are some tips that you have to live a more intentional life. Tip number 4, make changes based on your observations. So we talked about this in tip number 3 as well. So when you're first starting out, it's a good idea to just take note for maybe an entire week of the decisions that you make or the activities that you do that do and don't align. So once you have an idea of where most of your time is being spent, then you can decide, okay, well, maybe I don't want to spend 3 hours scrolling on my phone. I would rather spend that time learning a new skill. Maybe you want to take a cooking class or follow another YouTube channel that teaches how to cook. All those kinds of things. You'll be amazed how much more time you have on your hands when you take out the activities that really aren't serving you. Tip number 5, post your values on your wall. I know that sounds a little weird. You could post them on your mirror as well if you wanted to. Having that visible reminder on the wall day after day of what it is that you want your life focused on can really help guide your decision making throughout the day. So I have mine posted on a wall. I read them every morning. It's easier for me to bring up those values and beliefs during the day as I'm making decisions about what I want to spend my time on, to be like, oh wait, okay, I've committed to myself that I want my life to be a little more aware. So I'm not going to spend my break at work time scrolling through my phone. I'm going to do something a little more intentional. Maybe have a conversation with a person that I see walking by. Say hello to somebody, make a kind comment. If you're struggling to get started with intentional living, I would love to help. Reach out to me on Instagram. I'll leave the link in the description box below. And make sure to watch this video next, where I talk about how to identify your core values. I'll leave the link in the description box below as well. And until next time, be gentle.